All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. It is officially official. The judges, they've been picked. I don't know how to feel about it. Actually, I do. I made a video last year, broke down the judges, went over, their careers, because you can go to BoxRec, check out their careers. I told you, the corruption, the this, the that, pretty much called it. I mean, the only like wild card was Adelaide Bird, which, I mean, who could predict that? But we'll get to it. We'll get to it, like we do. Now, the judges for the rematch, Gennady Golovkin, Canelo 2. Okay, right here. Okay, judges, referee chosen for Canelo Golovkin. The Nevada Athletic Commission unanimously approved judges Dave Moretti, okay, Glenn Feldman, Steve Weisfeld, and referee Benji Estevez Jr. as the officials for September 15th. Now, you know, I don't know what to think. I do know what to think about it because, okay, let's go. Like I said, let's take a walk down memory lane. Okay, the original fight right here. Okay, Adelaide Bird 118, 110. Even to this damn day, I can't say 118, 110 without stuttering or just like it stops me dead in my tracks. 118, 110. Okay, Dave Moretti. Now remember, Dave Moretti, we thought was going to be the one that was going to favor Canelo. A lot of people kind of had him wrong, but 115, 113 for Gennady Golovkin. Don Triella, he had it a draw. And remember, okay, Don Triella, he made some kind of mistake on his scorecard where he was talking about how he meant to score a round differently or should have. I think it was round 10, I believe, or 9 or 10. He accidentally gave it to Canelo, but should have gave it to Golovkin. And basically he screwed up, but it wouldn't have changed the outcome, that kind of thing. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but, basically what we have here. Okay, now we have right here Dave Moretti, okay, the original guy. Glenn Feldman, these are, I call them establishment judges, meaning they typically favor the cash cow. Whoever is bringing in the millions into Vegas, they typically favor them. Same thing can be said for Steve Weisfeld. They favor like I said, their establishment judges. So, but I think Steve Weisfeld could be swayed a little easier than Glenn Feldman. That's my personal opinion. And I'm going to make a video and I'm going to break down the way these guys have judged fights in the past. When you have a boxer and a runner together, you got one guy applying pressure and another guy trying to outpoint. I'm going to really go over their fight and give you examples of how and why they scored a particular fight. Take Canelo Irizlandi Lara, for example. How one of these guys, they would give it to Irizlandi Lara because they felt he outboxed Canelo, but then another judge gave Canelo the round because of the body work and the pressure, that kind of. So they all score it a little bit different, and so we'll get to that later. But I don't really hate hate the judges here. I mean, it could have been worse, so, what I see here is probably a split decision for Canelo, and I keep saying that, but, every time I talk about that, I think about Golovkin, and I wonder, does he have it left? Does he have it left? Can he knock him out? And, everyone apparently that has gone to visit Gennady Golovkin, they've changed their mind. People are talking about they go to Big Bear and they walk in thinking Canelo by decision. They walk out thinking Canelo's getting knocked out. So, I want to have that moment. I don't have it yet, but I really, truly want to have that moment right now. I still have Canelo winning by decision. So, let's go over it one more time. Adelaide Bird, 118, 110. Moretti, 115, 113. Triella, 114, 114. Now, you remember at the end of that fight, Canelo was like shaking his head. His head was hanging low. I even watched a video, like they analyzed his body language, and he knew he had lost. Okay, he knew he had lost, but he also had kind of a smirk, like he knew he wasn't going to lose. He knew he had lost, but he knew he wasn't going to lose. So, it's like the fix was in. The fix was in. Now, there was a little bit of controversy here. I want to quickly go over. I'm already scored and just bear with me for like 30 seconds, okay? Actually, I'll skip to it. The NSAC also assigned New Jersey referee Benji Estevez Jr. on Wednesday to officiate the Alvarez-Golovkin rematch. Bennett suggested that the commission approve the assignment of Nevada referee to Tony Weeks. So basically, the Nevada State Athletic Commission wanted Tony Weeks, and Tom Loeffler said, no, we don't want Tony Weeks, okay? Tom Loeffler, Golovkin's promoter, objected to Weeks working the bout during the meeting before the commission approved Estevez. Chairman Anthony Marnell, said it was absolutely absurd. He said it was absolutely absurd that, Tom Loeffler, basically was, standing up to them and saying, no, we don't want Tony Weeks. Okay, now why? It says here, Bennett also defended the potential assignment of Weeks, who was widely criticized for how he handled the conclusion of Andre Ward Kovalev light heavyweight championship rematch in 2017. Loeffler reiterated he was simply attempting to avoid the potential for controversy because of the judging of the first, and he goes on to talk about the different fights and everything. But look, you look at Tony Weeks. I mean, forget about Andre Ward Kovalev. I mean, the list is a mile long. Look at Pacquiao. Was it Pacquiao Mayweather? I believe. Yeah, Pacquiao Mayweather. I mean, he was totally protecting Mayweather. I mean, he just has a long history of clearly, blatantly, obviously protecting one fighter or the other, allowing Mayweather to hold, and like in the Marcos Maidana fight, allowing him to hold over and over and over and over and over again without a single warning, but anytime another guy does anything, they get, threatened a point to be deducted, that kind of thing. So, so look, it was a smart, intelligent move by Tom Loeffler. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this referee, but I'm gonna make another video and break down the officials for you guys, and that'll help me too. That'll help me determine what may or may not happen on fight night. Now, again, memory lane, people. Every time I look at this, okay, now it's a blurry picture. Forgive me. It's just how it is. But here's Adelaide Bird. Okay, Adelaide Bird, whatever. On the left, 118. 110. Okay, check this out. She only gave Gennady Golovkin round 4 and round 7. Can you believe it? She literally gave Gennady Golovkin 2 rounds. She gave Canelo on a 10-9 scale, a 10-9 must system. Gave Canelo round 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I mean, wow, just wow. And and there were rounds, and I broke this down for you guys before, where there were rounds that Golovkin clearly won. I want to say it was like round 9, I believe. I can't remember. It was round 9, round 10. Let's see. Yeah, both the other judges had it for Golovkin, and Adelaide Bird still gave it to Canelo. Like some of Golovkin's best rounds, she gave it to Canelo. And the question is it incompetence, or was she paid off? That kind of thing. So I don't know. To this day, I don't know. What I truly don't know. I mean, I think she was just corrupt. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't paid off. I kind of think it was more of she was biased. Like she wanted Canelo to win, and she wanted just to stay on their good side. It could have been a bag of money, or it could have been her just trying to do what she thought they wanted her to do. Kind of like when you're at your job and you want to kiss up to your boss and you do something that is not right, but you're going to get brownie points for, that it could have been that, I don't know. But, this is boxing. It's corrupt as hell. I think she probably got paid. I think she got a big old bag of money at her hotel, And this meme, I made this meme like a year ago. Did Canelo set up Gennady Golovkin? Like, what I meant by this was, did they know about it going into the fight? And I think they did, because like I said, at the end of the fight, it's like Canelo knew he lost, but he knew he didn't lose, okay? He had that look like he was disappointed in himself, but he also knew he was being protected at the same time, right? So, and that was the look, Now, this is Golovkin. Actually, let me go back. Defending his fight with Vanez Marty Rosen. I don't want to read the whole thing, But he says, but I do like this quote. He says, "No one is bigger than the sport. Boxing is about working hard and giving a fair and honest fight. I respect the sport of boxing and the fans around the world who support it. For me, it's always about giving fans, or this is Abel Sanchez talking, and Golovkin, feels the same, whatever. Fans, entertaining fight. That is why I fight Mexican style, which was taught to me by Abel Sanchez." Okay, and they basically, Abel and Golovkin, they're both repeating each other by saying that. So when I was an amateur, I dreamed of becoming a world champion. I've worked hard to make that dream come true, and I'm not ready to give up that dream. That is why it was important to fight on Cinco de Mayo Day. I like being world champion. I like defending my titles, and that's, he's basically saying, as far as a criticism for that Vanez-Marty Rosen fight, he's saying, look, the sponsors were there. They worked hard to put it, like a lot of people worked really hard to put that together, just outside of the fame. I mean, you got, sponsors, vendors. I mean, there's so many people at the business end that have to come together to make this shit happen. And, he didn't want to just watch it like slip down the drain or, through the cracks. So they got an opponent. They like I said, life gave them lemons. They made lemonade. Okay. Now, right here, Abel Sanchez on Canelo. He is childish. I feel that he's responding. He's reading these things and it's affecting him. But the reason I'm saying these things is that they are facts. Okay, tell me where I'm lying. Did he not test positive? Okay, did he not cancel our fight? Okay, did he not cause an uproar with fans and tickets and reservations as a consequence of what he did? So I'm not insulting him. And here's my thing with the Canelo fans out there, okay? When you try to say, you have to blame Canelo, he needs to be held accountable, take responsibility for what he did. It's not that you're a Canelo hater. It's being an adult, It's being a professional athlete. You cost a lot of people a lot of time, money, and look, and there's people like myself, you can save up for a whole year to go to a boxing match, and you got to get your hotel, your airline ticket, someone to watch your dog, someone to watch your kids. You got to take time off of work. It's a big deal. And, especially when you're traveling out of state, coming to the fight. And what, you can't go now because this dude popped dirty for PEDs? And then Canelo, he acts like, oh, people can't say anything to me because if you do, I'm going to get pissed off. It's like, I don't know. That's what Abel's trying to say. He's simply trying to say, why can't we hold this guy accountable? That's it. And it's not that, people want to gang up on Canelo and bully him and, just, burn him at the cross or whatever, but he needs to be held accountable on some level, right? At some degree. So that's all he's trying to say, and I completely agree. Now, right here, but this is getting into the Bernard Hopkins, and I'm glad that we heard a little bit about this. That they had like a press conference call the other day, and this was kind of a little piece of it. But it says when you're gilding a Hall of Fame fighter on the cusp of breaking the record of Bernard Hopkins' record set in the middleweight reign, that talk is cheap and can prove expensive. Sanchez even managed to fire shots at Bernard Hopkins during that call, mentioning Hopkins' rematch with Robert Allen and Antoine Eccles, in addition to taking him to task for having a no contest and predominantly decision wins. Okay, so basically, he's saying, Bernard Hopkins needs to shut his mouth because we can simply break down your career and criticize the hell out of it. Now, the Golovkin eyewitness live in Vegas against Canelo last September was slower than a freight train that slipped past Danny Jacobs in March 2017. I thought Triple G did win both fights in 2017, but in a way that would set him up to lose this year. Okay, so they're basically saying that Golovkin is on the decline. Okay, he's on the decline. Now, this is what I'm struggling with. If you're still with me, I'm struggling with this. Just pay attention here. Historically, okay, the guy who can do more and has more tricks in his bag typically can do better in a rematch. And it's very true. It's very true. Okay, when you go into a rematch and, with Golovkin, man, again, I have to be very careful and selective with my words here. Canelo, I think he's the better boxer. Okay, I think he's got the quicker hands. I think he has a few more tools that he can bring out and sharpen. To get that, just to win a round, like one or two rounds. You know what I mean? And that's what they're trying to say here. historically, the guy who can do more and has more tricks in his bags typically can do better in a rematch. That is Canelo in this case. I think Golovkin is getting a little bit older. He's 36. He's got miles on him. I think Canelo is going to make the adjustment, show a different side, and possibly get his hand raised, okay? It was how the 34-year-old reacted when asked about Canelo's drug test that really got the fans talking, though. The American was reminded that Canelo's excuse with all the doping allegations were made when he had eaten tainted meat, okay? But this is why people ask me, they're like, dude, like, why are you picking Canelo to win? And I haven't really made my official prediction, but as of right now, I mean, basically that sums it up, because in a rematch, typically the guy that fights like Canelo can make a few adjustments, but then again, there's one just ultimate killer, and there's a gauntlet in there, and the gauntlet is Gennady Golovkin's power. Okay, that's the bomb that can change it all. They can change it all, and especially when you have Canelo, walking around talking about, he didn't feel Golovkin's power and things like that. So I really think Golovkin is out to prove, to make a point. Well, you're gonna feel my power. You didn't feel my. Well, if you didn't feel it, you're gonna feel it now. So it's just such an interesting fight, and all the variables. Is Golovkin too old? Canelo's off the PEDs. There's so many variables that we don't know. This isn't like predicting your average fight. So, when you try to look at it from a traditional standpoint or point of view, rather, it's hard, it's hard because there's a lot of variables. So this is Canelo's first rematch, just like it is for Golovkin. And that's another crazy thing. These guys, they've never had a rematch, okay? Abel can say what he wants and play mind games, but Triple G, won't change anything, okay? Again, very important, guys. Triple G, won't change anything about who he is or what he does. He can't. Okay, we know what we're dealing with, and that's a very basic fighter who's going to be exposed on the 15th. We're all tired of talking. Okay, now I don't agree with that. A little bit harsh, like he's having a bad day. Like, Eddie needs a nap is what it sounds like. But but I understand what he's trying to say. Same thing, but Bernard Hopkins always says that Golovkin doesn't get any better. And even Abel Sanchez will say, if it ain't broke, why fix it, right? Golovkin, he's winning. He's breaking records. He's doing all these. Well, why make changes? So that's what they're trying to say here, is that now they've already been 12 rounds once, so now they'll make changes because they already know what they're up against, right? And that's one of the biggest things in boxing is the unknown, right? When you're stepping into the ring for the first time, it's the unknown, the feel out process. That's why they call the first round or round or two, it's a feel out process. It's unknown. You don't know what you're up against, who you're up against, that kind of thing. But now Canelo knows, and Golovkin knows as well. So I guess you could go look at that either way. But, I don't know. It's just, it's just intriguing to me, and I love thinking about it. It's like a game of chess, trying to figure out who is going to win. But the problem is, whenever I try to say that I, one way or the other, whatever, that people get pissed off if I pick Canelo, and they get pissed off if I pick Golovkin. So it's like a lose-lose situation for me. So, but yeah, guys, you know what? I'll probably leave it at that. Man, I could talk for hours about this, just hours and hours and hours. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. But like I said, the judges, I will make a video, highlighting their career, and that way we can kind of figure out what they're going to do. So anyway, guys, leave your comment below. What do you think?